Yeah, we're good.
Okay. So first thing we're gonna do is I want everyone to pull up the homework assignment. If you can't pull up the homework assignment, then I will just copy paste it and post it in the group me, so you guys can at least see what I'm seeing. There you go.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right. So this is what I do, right? So step one is I lay out all my information flat. Okay. So you have your D value, which is your $100,000 in savings, right? At the end of the question, you're given your K value, which is 0.1, right? Now we have to do the stocks option and then we have to do the home option. You could do it in either order. I'm going to do the stocks one first. So I'm pretty much going to do that. So now we have our option right here. And now we have our year one probabilities. And this is me just doing all format work. None of this is actually any math yet. This is just what I do to make it easier on myself. All right. So if we look at the question, if you invest in stocks for the first year, there's a 40% chance you earn 20% and a 60% chance that you lose 5%. So first is your 40% chance of gaining 20%. So that's positive 20%. Then your other route is a 60% chance of a 5% loss. So instead of writing a 5%, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a negative 5%. Whoops. Negative 5%. And now for year two, you have a 30% chance of a 30% increase. And then you have a 70% chance of a 10% increase. Now this one is still going to be positive because it's an increase. It's just a smaller increase. Make everything look pretty. I'm going to do that. Okay, now the way we do this is the first value that we want to start with is, well, the money that we have in the beginning, which is our 100,000. Okay. Now we have two pathways we can go down for year one. We have our 40% pathway and we have our 60% pathway. So at the top here, I'm going to have the 40% pathway. And at the bottom here, we're going to have the 60% pathway. Now let's do the 40% pathway first. You have a 40% chance of a 20% gain. So the way you calculate that is you take your value right here, you multiply it to 1 plus your gain. And the reason for that is if you were to have just multiplied it by the gain, you would get a smaller number because it's only a percentage of that. You'd get 20% of 100,000. Now you're making 20% of 100,000, so you're adding it back to your initial total. So now your end total, if that route is what you go down, is 120,000. Now you have a 60% chance of losing 5%. So it's the same process. Well, actually, let's do it the way I've been doing it, like that. We multiply it to 1. And remember, we just do plus because this is already negative. We don't need to do subtraction. Plus that. And we have our 95,000 right there. Okay. Now this is one possibility for year one, and this is the second possibility for year one. So now we have our year two options. We need to put our year two options on both this first chance and this second chance. So let's do it on the first chance first. So you have your 30% chance of a 30% gain. So what you're doing is you're continuing off of the previous year's value. So you're going off 120,000 multiplied by 1 plus your 30% gain. Now you have your other route, your 70% chance of a 10% gain. Remember, it's the same past year that you're going to. 1 plus your 10% chance right there. Boom. Now that's it for the 40% route. You've finished the 40% route in terms of this stuff. Now you have to finish the 60% route back here. So it's the same as it was on the one above. You have your 30% and your 70%. And you're doing the math again. But instead of taking from here, we're in this route now, so we're taking from here. Times 1 plus your 30% chance. And then 1 times 1 plus your 10% chance. Is everyone good with this? Everyone's following?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, just to compare, 156, 132, 32, 123, 500, and 104. Yep. This is right. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to do the EV for period 1. So first, you have your EV, and this is your EV equation. What you're going to do is you're just looking here, right? So, you're going to first hit the equal sign, open your parentheses up, and you are multiplying the percentage chance of this happening. You're multiplying it with that end number right there. Closing it off, and then you're adding it to the percent of chance of the other version happening times, well, that end value, and boom, that is your EV for this route. Now you need your NPEV, and all your NPEV is your EV divided by, and I'll put this in parentheses, 1 plus your K value. So 126,545.5. All right, just to confirm. There we go. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do your EV value for this route. So it is exactly the same thing that we did before, just with these values instead. So you open the parentheses, 30% times that end value plus 70%. Well, actually, first let me do parentheses. Plus 70% times that end value. Boom. That's your EV. And now to confirm. Yep. Now we have our MPEV right here. And remember what we said before, the MPEV is the EV divided by, open your parentheses, 1 plus your K value. Now if we want to compare, there we go. Is everyone understanding that part? Does everyone get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I'm just going to section this off.
You got this on recording, right? Just when
Yes,
I ask
yeah, I
you.
do, I do, I
Alright,
do, I do.
appreciate it.
Yep. Now, next step, which is pretty much last step for this, like the stocks area, is now period 0. Now, period 0 also has its own EV and NPEV. Now, the NPEV equation for period 0 is the same as here, but the EV equation is different. Okay, so what you are doing is equals, you are taking this 40% chance right here, and you are multiplying it by the number you made that year plus the NPEV at the end of it. You are then closing it off. Then you are adding it to this route's exact same thing. So you have this right here, multiply it by the number you made that year plus your NPEV. Then you enter. And to verify, yep. And now, actually the NPEV is a little different for the period 0, only because once we do what we usually do, we're adding it to this value. And that's it. So let's go for it. First, we're going to open the parentheses. There we go. Then we're going to divide this by 1 plus the k value, like before. Close all the parentheses off, and then we add it to 100,000. 296, 115.7. And there we go. 296, 115.7. Now this is the important number. All we're going to do for the home is the exact same thing to get this value for the home option. And then we're going to compare the two. We're going to see 296, 115.7 is higher than 286, 921.5. So then we would automatically know that stocks is the better option because the NPEV is higher. Okay. So now we are going to do the home options. So I'm going to remember, you saw how I made my life so much easier by writing this out first. I'm going to do that for home now. Home right there. Just make them bold because why not? Then we have, my God, year 1. Whatever. Year 2. Gain loss. Okay. Now, year 1, for the home option, it says that your value will go up by 5% by the chance of 20%. So that is a 20% chance of a 5% gain. And then you have an 80% chance of it going down by 10%. An 80% chance of it going, did it say down? Down by 10%. So that's negative 10. Now we have our year 2 for the home, and that is a 50% chance of the value going up by 15%. And this is a 50% chance of the price going down 20%. Let me see something. Huh. A little confused why that's like that. Look at the homework again. May go down 10% by the chance of 80. Okay. So this is supposed to be negative. All right. Now we are doing everything that we just did here. We are just doing it again right here. So I will be going a little bit quicker, but I will still be explaining what I was doing. So you have your value right there. If anything, we can bring it from up here instead. You have your 100,000. Then you have your 20% and your 80%. 20% and your 80%. Oh, hold on. I don't want that there. Your 80% right there. Now you have a 20% chance of this 100,000 going up by 5%. So you do that. And this is the same 100,000 having an 80% chance that it goes down by 10%. You have your 90,000 right there. Now we have to do our year 2 values, which is 50%, 50%, 50%, and 50%. Now for this top value, it's the value directly before it. So you have your 100,000 right here. Multiply that by 1 plus the possible gain or loss of that area. In this instance, it's a 15% gain. This is, wait, no, there we go. 1 plus your 20% loss. And now this is the second route. So it goes back to this value right here. Times 1 plus your 15% gain. And this is the same as the one above it, but using your 20% loss. So this and this are the same, quote unquote. Now, we need to do all this EV and NPEV crap. You have your period 1 right here, your EV, and your NPEV. There we go. Now, if we look back right here, your EV is the percentage chance of this value happening times this value plus the same thing for down here. So we're just going to recreate that right here. Open the parentheses. 50% chance of this happening plus the 50%, well actually let's do parentheses. 50% chance of this value happening. 102,000. That should be right here. Also, I believe I actually did this incorrectly, considering that I had this a 10% gain when it should have been a 10% loss. Did I drag it? I think I can just correct it by just doing this. Yep. Okay. So we did this route, and now we have to get our NPEV. Now your NPEV, remember, it is your EV divided by 1 plus your K value. There you go. We want to compare. There it is. Now we need to do our EV and NPEV for this bottom route. Now it's the exact same thing. Take your 50%, you multiply it to that value, then you add it to the 50% times its value. Boom. Your EV. And now remember what the NPEV equation is. It is your EV divided by 1 plus your K value. Boom. That is your NPEV value for both period ones. Now you have your period 0 to do. Period 0. So you have your EV and your NPEV. All right, these versions are a little bit different compared to these right here. If you look at your EV, it's just this area. But if you look at our EV here, it is the percentage chance times that year's values plus the NPVE or the NPEV of that route. So I'll do it right here. 20% chance times this value plus your NPEV. And that is plus, right? Just want to check. Yep. That is plus this 80% chance times this value plus the NPV of that route. There we go, 175,431. Now, this is where the NPEV gets different. It's still this value divided by 1 plus the K value, but then you are also adding it to this initial total right here. And there we go. So the most important numbers that are here, right there, which one is bigger?
The stock one.
Right. So the stock value is higher than the
Yep.
value of buying a home. So since the homework question is asking, use the NPV methodology to see which option is better for you for the next 2 years. So using the NPEV method, you realize that the stock option is better for you in the next 2 years because its value is higher than that of the home value. And that's it.